Have you ever stopped and asked yourself this question? Why, in a world where food is abundant, life is more convenient, and medicine is more advanced than ever, people are actually becoming sicker? Why are so many people still young, far from middle age, yet already living with medication, chronic illness, and constant fatigue? There is a truth few people want to face. Modern life itself is creating a silent disease, a disease spreading quietly across the world, across every country, across every social class. That disease is obesity. Obesity does not arrive overnight. It does not announce itself loudly. It does not cause sudden pain. It does not send you to the hospital right away. It comes slowly, quietly, almost invisibly. At first, it is only a few extra kilograms. Then your clothes feel tighter, your body feels heavier, your breathing becomes shorter when you climb the stairs. And you tell yourself, it's fine, I'm just a little overweight. As long as I can eat and sleep, it's okay. I'll deal with it later. But it is exactly this thinking that has cost millions of people their health, their years of life, and sometimes their lives. Obesity is not about appearance. It is not about beauty. It is not about being fat or thin. Obesity is a real disease, recognized by modern medicine, and it is the root cause of many serious health problems. When excess fat builds up in the body, it does not stay quietly under the skin. It begins to invade the organs that keep you alive. The heart works harder to pump blood through a heavier body. The liver stores excess fat and slowly becomes damaged. The lungs are compressed, breathing becomes shallow, less efficient. The joints carry more weight than they were ever designed to handle. All of this happens day after day, little by little, often without you noticing. What makes obesity truly dangerous is the false sense of safety it creates. Unlike sharp pain that forces you to see a doctor, obesity teaches you to tolerate discomfort. You get used to heaviness, you get used to fatigue, you get used to shortness of breath, you get used to back pain, you get used to knee pain. Over time, these warning signs feel normal. You blame age, you blame stress, you blame a busy life. But the truth is simple. None of this is normal. These are signals, clear signals your body is trying to send you. Modern society has unknowingly created the perfect environment for obesity to grow. Fast food is everywhere. Sugary drinks are everywhere. Ultra-processed food is everywhere. In just a few minutes, you can consume more calories than your body needs for an entire day. At the same time, people move less than ever before. We sit more, we walk less. We work long hours in front of screens. Then we go home and sit again. The human body was designed to move, but modern life forces it to stay still. The result is simple. Fat accumulates, slowly, relentlessly. Stress makes it worse. Chronic pressure, lack of sleep, staying up late, all of it disrupts hormones and metabolism. When you don't sleep enough, your body craves food, especially sugar, especially refined carbohydrates. When you are stressed, you eat for comfort, not because you are hungry, but because you are exhausted. And so the cycle continues, day after day, year after year. Many people believe obesity only becomes dangerous when someone is extremely overweight. That belief is wrong. Even long-term overweight is enough to damage the body. The heart comes under strain. Blood pressure rises quietly. Blood sugar becomes unstable. Fat builds up in the liver without causing pain. Life continues as usual until one day, it doesn't. Sometimes the body speaks through severe pain. Sometimes through a heart attack. Sometimes through a stroke. And by then, the damage is already deep. There are people in their 30s and 40s who depend on daily medication, blood pressure pills, diabetes medication, cholesterol drugs. There are people who believe they were young and healthy only to relearn how to walk after a stroke. When they look back, they realize something painful. It was not one single moment. It was years of ignoring weight gain, years of unhealthy habits, years of warnings left unanswered. The tragedy is this. Obesity is becoming more common every single year, yet awareness remains low. Many still see obesity as a personal issue, as simply eating too much. But obesity is a public health crisis. When obesity rates rise, the burden of disease rises with them. Quality of life declines, healthcare systems struggle, and future generations pay the price. If you recognize yourself or someone you love in these words, understand this. This message is not meant to judge you. It is not meant to scare you. It is meant to wake you up, because awareness is the first step toward change. Obesity is not something to be ashamed of. Ignoring it is far more dangerous. The human body is intelligent, and it is patient. It can endure for a long time, but there is always a limit, and when that limit is reached, the cost is very high. Facing obesity today is not pessimism. It is courage. It is responsibility. It is an act of care toward yourself. This is only the beginning. In the next parts, we will explore how obesity damages each organ in the body, and we will talk about realistic, safe, and sustainable ways to escape this modern disease. But before moving on, ask yourself one simple question. If health is the most valuable asset you have you truly been taking care of it the right way? In the first part, we talked about how obesity begins quietly and why it is so easy to ignore. Now it is time to face a deeper truth, because obesity does not stay on the surface. It does not stop at weight gain. It does not stop at discomfort. Obesity moves inward. It enters the body, organ by organ, system by system, and it changes how your body works from the inside out. Let's start with the heart. Your heart was designed to pump blood efficiently through a body of a certain size. But when the body becomes heavier, the heart must work harder every single second. It pumps against higher pressure. It pushes blood through narrowed vessels. It never truly gets to rest. Over time, this constant strain leads to high blood pressure, silent, often unnoticed. Then comes damage to the blood vessels. Fat and cholesterol begin to build up along the artery walls. The space for blood flow becomes smaller. The risk becomes larger, until one day, a vessel becomes blocked, and that day may end with a heart attack or a stroke. Many people believe these events happen suddenly. They do not. They are the result of years of silent damage. Now let's talk about the liver. The liver is one of the hardest working organs in the human body. It filters toxins, processes nutrients, regulates metabolism. But when excess fat enters the bloodstream, the liver begins to store it. At first, there is no pain, no warning. This condition is called fatty liver disease, and it is far more common than most people realize. As fat continues to accumulate, the liver becomes inflamed, cells are damaged. Scar tissue begins to form. Over time, this can progress to fibrosis, cirrhosis, and even liver failure. Many people only discover this when the damage is already severe, because the liver suffers in silence. Next, let's look at blood sugar and insulin. When the body carries excess fat, especially around the abdomen, cells become less responsive to insulin. This is known as insulin resistance. At first, the body tries to compensate. It produces more insulin. It works harder. But eventually, it cannot keep up. Blood sugar levels rise, and type 2 diabetes develops. Diabetes is not just about sugar. It damages nerves. It damages blood vessels. It damages the eyes, the kidneys, the feet. It slowly takes away quality of life. And obesity is one of its strongest drivers. Now let's move to breathing. Many people with obesity notice that they feel out of breath easily, but few understand why. Excess fat around the chest and abdomen compresses the lungs. The diaphragm cannot move freely. Breathing becomes shallow. Oxygen levels drop. At night, this often leads to sleep apnea. Breathing stops briefly, again and again while sleeping. Each pause puts stress on the heart and brain. Each pause raises the risk of stroke, heart disease, and sudden death during sleep. And yet many people live with sleep apnea for years without knowing it. Now consider the joints. Every step you take sends force through your knees, hips, and spine. When body weight increases, that force multiplies. Joints wear down faster. Cartilage breaks down. Pain begins. Movement becomes difficult. And as movement decreases, weight gain increases. Another vicious cycle. Eventually, simple actions like walking, standing, or climbing stairs become painful, and independence begins to fade. But obesity does not only affect the body, it affects the mind. Many people living with obesity experience low self-esteem, anxiety, and depression. They may avoid social situations, avoid physical activity, avoid mirrors. Emotional stress increases, and stress once again feeds the cycle of overeating. Food becomes comfort, relief, escape, and the cycle tightens. One of the most dangerous aspects of obesity is that it rarely exists alone. It brings companions: high blood pressure, high cholesterol, diabetes, heart disease. Each condition increases the risk of the others. Together, they form a dangerous cluster that shortens life expectancy. This is why obesity is linked to earlier death, not because of one single cause, but because it overwhelms the entire system. What makes this even more tragic is that much of this damage happens gradually, quietly, without dramatic symptoms, until one day the body can no longer compensate. And when that moment comes, recovery becomes harder. Treatment becomes more complex. And the cost, physical, emotional, and financial, becomes much higher. Obesity does not steal health overnight. It steals it slowly, piece by piece, day by day. And because the process is slow, it is easy to ignore, easy to delay action, easy to say, I'll start tomorrow. But tomorrow often becomes next year, and next year becomes a decade. This is why awareness matters. Because once you understand what obesity is truly doing inside the body, it becomes harder to ignore, harder to pretend nothing is wrong. This is not about fear. It is about clarity. It is about seeing the full picture before it is too late. In the final part, we will talk about something essential, not extreme diets, not quick fixes, but realistic, sustainable changes. Changes that respect the body, changes that restore balance, changes that can reverse the damage before it becomes permanent. But for now, remember this. Every symptom has a story. Every warning sign has a cause. And obesity is often at the center of that story. In the previous parts, we faced a difficult truth. We saw how obesity begins quietly and how it slowly damages the body, organ by organ, system by system. Now comes the most important part of this story, because understanding the problem is only the first step. The real question is this: what can be done? And the answer may surprise you. The solution to obesity is not punishment. It is not starvation. It is not suffering. It is awareness, balance, and consistent care. One of the biggest mistakes people make is believing they must change everything at once. They try extreme diets. They push their bodies too hard. They aim for fast results, and when those results don't come quickly, they give up. But real change does not work that way. The body heals through patience, not pressure. The first shift is not in your body, it is in your mindset. Instead of asking, how fast can I lose weight? Ask this: how can I support my body today? Because obesity did not develop overnight, and it will not disappear overnight. And that is okay. Food is the next place to begin. Not by eating less, but by eating better. Your body does not need perfection. It needs consistency. Eating slower, paying attention to hunger and fullness, reducing ultra-processed foods, reducing excess sugar, not eliminating joy, but choosing nourishment more often. Food is not the enemy. It is information for the body. And when the body receives better information, it responds. Movement is just as important. Not extreme workouts. Not punishment exercise. Movement that feels natural. Walking, stretching, gentle strength. The goal is not burning calories. The goal is reminding the body what it was designed to do. Even small amounts of movement done daily can improve insulin sensitivity, reduce inflammation, and support heart health. Sleep is another powerful tool. Lack of sleep disrupts hunger hormones, increases cravings, slows recovery. When you sleep well, your body regulates itself better. Sleep is not laziness. It is repair. Stress must also be addressed. Chronic stress keeps the body in survival mode. It raises cortisol, promotes fat storage, increases emotional eating. Learning to pause, to breathe, to create moments of calm is not optional. It is essential. And perhaps most important of all is self-compassion. Many people carry shame about their weight. They blame themselves. They criticize their bodies. But shame does not heal. It only deepens the cycle. Your body is not your enemy. It has been adapting, protecting, and surviving. When you treat it with respect, it responds. It is also important to remember this: health is not a number on a scale. Weight is only one indicator, not the whole story. Energy levels, mobility, blood markers, mental clarity, these matter too. Progress is often invisible at first, but it is happening. Every healthier choice, no matter how small, sends a signal that the body understands, a signal that says, I am listening now. One of the most powerful things you can do is seek support. You do not have to do this alone. Healthcare professionals, nutrition experts, supportive communities. Change is easier when it is shared. And sustainable change is always the goal, because temporary solutions create temporary results. But habits built slowly and gently create lasting transformation. Obesity is not a personal failure, it is a signal. A signal from a body living in a world that often moves too fast, demands too much, and offers too little rest. Responding to that signal with care is an act of strength. And the most important thing to remember is this: it is never too late. The body has an incredible ability to recover. Blood pressure can improve, blood sugar can stabilize, inflammation can decrease. Even small changes, started today, can alter the course of your future. This video was not created to scare you. It was created to empower you, to remind you that awareness creates choice, and choice creates change. Obesity may be a disease of our time, but awareness can be the cure. As this video comes to an end, take a moment, not to judge yourself, but to listen to your body, to your breath, to the signals you may have ignored. Ask yourself one honest question. What is one small thing I can do today to care for my health? Not tomorrow, not next month, today. Because the path to healing does not begin with perfection. It begins with one step, and that step is always available to you